Hey guys, Sherry Fox here with What the Fox, and today I'm going to show you how I paint a bathtub. Not only am I going to show you how I do this, but I'm also going to show you how to fix a very common problem that can occur when doing this. Now let's get into it. All I've got on here is some 80 grit sandpaper. 80 grit. And we're just going to go through it. We're going to do it all. Okay guys, if you're going to use sandpaper like this, you really don't want to spend a lot of time in one area. All we're trying to do here is knock off any dirt, debris, or oils that may be on this bathtub. And if you have some hard to reach areas, you can use a sanding block. I'm just using a 100 grit sanding block. Just be careful not to scratch up the chrome. And don't forget to get the outside front of your bathtub as well. Okay, so after we're done sanding, we really want to clean the bathtub. I'm going to start out using some scrubbing bubbles. However, the kit that we're going to use today, it does give you a cleaning solution. So you can mix that up, clean it really well, but the most important thing is to make sure the tub is dry before we start painting it. Now once we have everything clean and dry, we just want to mask off the area. Now I'm using what's called frog tape, but the blue painter's tape, that will work as well. And don't forget to tape off any chrome that you may have, even your drain. But this drain is plastic, so I'm not worried about it. They're probably going to change it in the future. But if yours is chrome, you can either remove it and or tape it off. And don't forget to mask off the front of your tub, even the floor. You want to make sure that your faucet doesn't have a drip. Just in case, you can put a plastic bag around it. And guys, get yourself a respirator. I think I picked this one up for around $30, but you really need it when working with this paint. And what we're going to be using today is called Tough as Tile. Now you can pick this up at your local hardware store, but this is actually the brush-on, roll-on. It is not the spray. I do not recommend using the spray. If you do, you're going to have overspray everywhere and you're going to end up masking everything off. But they also give you a couple of things in here. They give you the directions and then the cleaning solution that I was talking about earlier. They'll also give you some scouring pads. However, I used sandpaper instead. They'll give you some gloves and then they give you the actual paint. And you want to get some ventilation going. Open a window, open a door, use a box fan, whatever you have, just try to get some ventilation. Now let me show you how we're going to do this. First off, I stir my paint. I don't shake it. I don't want the air bubbles. And I'm going to go ahead and tell on myself here. In the directions, it specifically says use a 4-inch lint-free roller and a paintbrush. And in big bold letters, it says do not use a foam roller. Well, guess what? I'm going to use a foam applicator and a 4-inch foam roller. And the reason I use the foam roller is because I just think it gives a smoother texture. But you use whichever one you feel comfortable with. However, if you decide to go against the grain and you want to do what I do, you cannot use the same foam roller and or applicator for the second coat. Every time you do a coat of paint, you have to get a new one. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just go around the top on the edge. I'm not using a lot of paint here, guys. Do not try to coat this in the first coat, especially if your bathtub is a different color. This one is white, so I can get away with a lot of things. But if your bathtub is blue or yellow or whatever color it may be, it's going to take several coats. But you're going to put very light, thin coats each time you paint it. And one thing you're going to notice about this paint is as soon as it hits the bathtub, if you wait too long, it starts getting sticky. So try not to go over the same area over and over and over again. I don't care what it looks like. Skip it. Move on. If you've already hit that area, move on because we're going to put another coat of paint on this. Several, actually. Just keep moving. Okay, now when you guys get down here kind of where the bathtub rounds itself, you're going to get frustrated just a little bit because you're going to want to keep painting it over and over and over again. Don't do it. Just hit it lightly with some paint. If it looks horrible, that's okay. just keep moving because like I said, this is only the first coat. And all we're doing here, guys, is we're just working our way from the back to the front. Now, if you did decide to go with the foam roller and the foam applicator, throw these away, get a new one for the next coat. When you are done with the first coat, secure the lid on the can because right now, you have to wait at least 3 hours before you can put a second coat on it. However, you have to do it before 6 hours. So just make sure and allow yourself enough time before you start this project. Now, after the first coat, guys, your tub's gonna look something like this, or possibly even worse, depending on the color of your tub. So don't freak out about it, because honestly, the less paint you can put on per coat is actually better. But now, the second coat, it will usually reveal if you have any problems. You may see it in the first coat, but usually the second coat will reveal the problem areas. Now, I'm not going to bore you with me putting on a second coat because I'm going to apply it the exact same way I did the first coat. And after the second coat, as you can see, we still have some areas that need some more paint. Now, especially if your bathtub is not white and a different color, you're going to need a couple more coats. But I'm also going to show you something that most videos don't show you. If you examine your bathtub just a little closer, you might have some areas that look something about like this. Now, this is due to the fact that I didn't prep this area the way I should have. It can happen in the corners a lot, but especially on the bottom because it's textured. But you know what? We're human. It happens, and I'm going to show you how to fix it. But unfortunately, we have to let this cure before we can fix this. You need to wait at least 48 to 72 hours before you attempt to fix any problem areas that you may notice. Once your tub has completely dried, we're just going to repeat the process. We're going to go in with our sander and we're going to lightly hit these areas that need attention. And luckily, we found these in the first or second coat. And our bathtub needs another coat of paint anyway. The only downfall is you had to wait a few days before you could fix it and repaint it. And with any good project, guys, you just need to have a little patience. Now, after you sand this, rinse it with water, dry it off before you paint it again. Now, this bathtub got 4 coats of paint. Now, there's a little bit on the tile. That's okay. We can scrape that off with a glass scraper. But overall, I'm completely satisfied with this. Now, if you like what we're doing here, guys, smash that like button for me. And can I encourage you to subscribe? I would greatly appreciate it. But when you do, don't forget to click that little bell. That way, when I upload new videos, you'll be the first to know. This is Sherry saying you guys can easily do this. Thanks again, guys, for tuning into What the Fox. Until next time, take care. So, first thing we're going to do is if I know, really. Yeah, they give you a few things in here. Let's open it up. You have your directions. Now, I'm probably not going to use those. They give you a cleaning agent. They do. If you still have paint in your can, just put it back. Alright, man, just put it back in there. Put it back in there. Because that paint's expensive as hell. You done with it? And let's wait for 3 hours. I touched that. That's my bad. We'll fix that if we have to. It's my fault. Cover the paint up. Be done with it. Yeah, I know that's not a hammer, but that's how we do things in the South. Anything we got, we just got to close that. Be done with it, walk away for 3 hours, and don't touch his shit. Turn that camera off, I need a beer.